Hi, and welcome to Your Health with Katriel. I'm Katriel Holloway, your host and your health advocate. As I always love to start the show by asking you, how is your health? Are you listening to your body? Is it telling you what's going on in your body and making sure that you are doing what you're supposed to do for your temple? Well, we hope so. So as always, we love to bring you information on behalf of alternative health, and we do some conventional health too, but we want to make sure you have a holistic approach to what's going on with your body. That's spiritual, emotional, mental, physical, and social. So today we have something very different and very exciting. We have David Peters here with us as an acupuncturist himself. Thank you for coming, David, and welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
And I wanted to start by sharing with people, because I know you're an herbalist, you're a massage therapist, a lot of different hats, a lot of different roles that you play in alternative health. Start off by telling us, what is the world of acupuncture? Well,
the world of acupuncture is much more than just acupuncture.
Right, yeah.
So it's Oriental medicine. And Oriental medicine can take a lot of different shapes. There's Japanese acupuncture, there's Chinese acupuncture, there's Korean acupuncture, there's a lot of different kind of ways to do it.
Different techniques?
Different techniques.
Different needles, perhaps?
Different needles,
okay, that's
yep,
cool.
Different, yeah, completely different techniques, different kind of theories behind them as well. What I went to school for and learned primarily was traditional Chinese medicine. And so that is different than something that you might learn in Japan or Korea or other parts, even Indian medicine, that sort of thing. So traditional Chinese medicine kind of has 5 branches. And so acupuncture is one of them.
Okay. Massage,
body work, and Tui Na, which is over there they do chiropractic kind of adjustments and that sort of thing too as part of that. And there are actually doctors for each one of these. So there's a doctor of kind of Tui Na that does body work, and that's what they do exclusively. And they have doctors over there that just do needling, just acupuncture. There are also doctors over there that just do herbal medicine. Some of the other doctors too, for instance, one of the prescriptions that I use and they use over there too are teaching exercises to get the flow of the meridians to go better. So Qigong and Tai Chi and certain different kinds of rehabilitation exercises and that sort of thing. Moxibustion is also used over there.
Wow, say that one more time, David.
Moxibustion.
Okay,
yes.
That's a new word for me for today.
Yes,
okay.
So moxa is like a rolled up cigar of herbs. And so what you do is you actually light the end on fire, and then it burns like a cherry on a cigar.
Oh, wow.
And then so you put it close to the point that you want to treat. And so it has a warming effect, so it makes the blood flow and the energy flow better, in the channels.
Is this legal, David?
It is legal, yes.
Wow.
And well, I won't tell you what it smells like, but you can imagine.
Okay.
But yeah, it has that similar smell. Sometimes the neighbors wonder.
Now that's fascinating.
It is very fascinating. And the other thing that it does is it gives off an infrared with the actual cherry of it's Artemisia vulgaris is the herb that they use. And so it burns at a certain temperature, and it also gives off an infrared.
But it's not burning the skin.
It's not burning the skin at all. It just warms. So you just kind of hold it close so that it warms the area. And yeah, that's one of the branches. Another kind of branch that I use is mindfulness meditation.
Okay.
And so doing Qigong and doing Tai Chi can be a way of doing mindfulness meditation, but also a sitting practice and that sort of thing.
Okay.
Mindfulness meditation also has gotten very big in psychology circles, and there's 25 years of research now, backing it up. And it's wonderful. They took a lot of the core of mindfulness meditation, John Kabat-Zinn, University of Massachusetts, and now they're here at Duke Integrative Medicine Center. They have the mindfulness-based stress reduction program. It took a lot of the kind of core from actually Buddhist teachings and the mindfulness practices that they do. And they kind of homogenize the language, so that they won't scare off anybody else with other belief systems. And they made it very practical for people to use as a tool to help with stress reduction, with handling pain, with those sorts of things.
So now give me an example, because I noticed you are sitting properly. And I wasn't. I was just kind of slunched over leaning in, looking interested. But when you said that, I just kind of shifted gears. But what's an example of mindfulness meditation?
So mindfulness meditation is the core of it is actually self-directed attention. So you're paying attention to what's going on with your mind.
Okay.
And it also has a component of compassion, loving kindness, or you could say non-judgment.
Okay.
So those are the two main components that you bring together for mindfulness training. And it is a training, and it's a practice. And so if you practice at times when you don't need mindfulness, then it's kind of like a muscle. You know, you start to use this muscle and start to develop this muscle, and then when you really need to kind of lower stress levels, you can do it much easier because you've practiced when you don't need it.
Okay, so capturing your thoughts to make sure they're healthy, they're positive, uplifting type of thoughts?
Those can be definitely parts of mindfulness, absolutely, yeah. It's kind of like using the, I've heard it described as the, using the part of you that is not your mind, but can watch your mind.
Okay,
so
like a subconscious?
The silent observer.
Okay.
Sometimes it's said the third eye, sometimes it's, you know, connection to spirit. It's said a lot of different ways.
Right.
But it's that part of all of us that we all have that we can use, that we can watch our mind and see what's going on with it, and we can kind of have our open hand and allow ourselves to have our emotions. It's not about not having the emotions.
Right.
You can still have the emotions, but letting them come and letting them go. And not getting caught up in your normal kind of everyday reaction.
Right, okay.
So instead, taking kind of that sacred pause and allowing kind of the intuition to bubble up and that wisdom to bubble up to know how to respond rather than react.
All right, so with my Christian views, it sounds like that's could be similar to like the Holy Spirit giving me that sense of...
Absolutely. And you can connect with it. Absolutely. You can connect with that kind of peace however you want. But it's the practice that's important. That it's the actual, you know, not reacting, that kind of knee-jerk reaction. That's really kind of a stress reaction a lot of times. So that's one thing that I've really gotten into lately, and I've been helping my patients learning that piece so that they can respond to life better
and not react and this is the hand I've been dealt type of I got you.
Not being such a victim, not playing that role, you know, all those sorts of things.
Dave, you sound so passionate about this. What made you want to get into traditional Chinese medicine?
Well, in high school I was a wrestler. And I had a neck injury, and I tried many things. I tried massage and chiropractic and, you know, some painkillers, some self-medication in college and that sort of thing. That didn't work out too good. So
self-medication never does.
No, it doesn't, no. So I finally found acupressure, actually.
And that's the difference between...
Acupressure is actually using the points and actually putting pressure on the points to create that same sort of effect, a little bit to a lesser degree. But in my case, it was connected to a lot of emotion that I kind of repressed.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
And so what I learned over the years is, like in the neck area, a lot of times you can repress kind of memories and feelings and that sort of thing that have to do with communication.
Wow.
The shoulders have to do with kind of feeling the weight of the world on your shoulders, responsibility issues. Back here in the back is betrayal, feelings like you're not being treated fairly, being stabbed in the back, literally.
Wow.
You know, that sorts of things. So you kind of bring out your turtle shell and you close off the heart and that sort of thing.
And some people's body language stays like this and very uptight and tense.
Absolutely. Yes.
Am I down? Am I showing that I'm open and relaxed?
I think you are.
Okay. And if I was up here, I would be tense and
sometimes
stressed
it can
a little
be
bit?
that, and sometimes it can be, you know, a physiological kind of, you know, something going on there, a pulled muscle or whatever. But a lot of people do suppress, repress, oppress their memories and their feelings inside their bodies.
Don't you just love the body, how it works?
Oh, it's amazing.
It is amazing.
It's amazing.
It really is amazing. So you're telling me that even a person's journey is showing up in their bodies.
I read people, you know, the minute they come in the door. I'm like an investigator.
Okay, when I came to you, David, what'd you say?
Well,
Come on, you can tell
I have
me.
to get your HIPAA consent form to,
okay.
to
That's
share
a good
that
point.
on the air.
We won't say that on TV then, what you thought. But I know, like the first time when you were doing like about my digestion and
we checked everything, right?
Yeah.
We went over your digestion. We checked your pulse.
Oh my goodness.
We looked at your tongue. We checked in with your exercise. We checked in with your nutrition intake.
Right.
We checked in with everything, like kind of a whole. And we checked in with your emotions. We checked in with all of that. And so when you first came to me, putting all that together and seeing what we kind of needed to work on.
Right.
And so we put in some acupuncture, you know, and I think we probably did a little bit of dietary kind of things, maybe a little bit of supplements.
Yeah. And we're both in traditional Chinese medicine there, so I was like, oh, cool, I can do the Tai Chi cleanse.
Yeah. So you did really well.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
We gave you some pieces, and that's the thing. Everybody's treatment plan is different.
Right.
And you don't treat, somebody comes in with a headache, you don't treat all the people the same way. It's Chinese medicine. You look at a person as an individual, and you diagnose and differentiate, what's going on with them, and also where the person is willing to meet themselves. Because some people are not willing to maybe work on their diet.
Well, that's true. So, you're right. It's just that I'm not going to change it, and this is who I am and what I've been doing,
and they may decide that later. And then you can kind of include that later. Yeah. But, they might not be ready for that in the beginning. So you kind of have to meet the patient where they want to be met as well.
So what is the biggest myth about acupuncture?
Ooh, well, the biggest...
Do the needles hurt? I mean, is that the questions you get?
That's kind of my biggest question that I get, most popular. Everybody thinks of like a hypodermic needle when they think of needles,
that's
right?
True.
And so those hurt.
They do.
They go in your artery, and an artery actually has nociceptors and proprioceptors that, they hurt when something, is going inside them. So an acupuncture needle is super fine, and it's almost like a single hair, strand of hair, and so when it goes into the muscle layer. So when you actually pierce the skin layer, that's the only proprioceptors and nociceptors that you actually have. And once you get into the muscle layer, they really don't have the same kind of sensation. Now you will feel a sensation sometimes of the actual energy moving.
Okay, and that's true.
Yeah. But it's not pain.
Right.
And generally, like, you'll feel it right in the beginning when I actually go into the depth that I want to go into, and I might manipulate the needle a little bit. And you'll feel a little something, and then it's very comfortable. And most of my patients, I say, are you ready for your 15-minute needle nap? Because they get very relaxed, and most of them actually, take a little nap.
And you mentioned Meridians, and I have to tell you, before I came to you, I went to someone else, and they did a treatment, and I started crying on the table. And I was like, whoa, this is too deep. Just by the fact that this person is making me cry on the table from acupuncture, but they were explaining about Meridians. So talk to a little bit about Meridians and what that's all about. Well,
Meridians are the rivers of energy in the body that move. They're doing more and more research, and they did a myofascial conference at Harvard a couple of years ago, and I think they're doing it this year as well. But what they're finding is the myofascial tissue is the tissue in between the muscle layers. And they're thinking that that's where kind of the piezoelectric current, which they're picking up as the meridian flow.
Emotional highway?
Well, that's remember we were talking about the stored memories in the muscles? So that's kind of what can happen sometimes with acupuncture, is that it can open you up. And it can open up the meridian flow so that you really start to relax. And when we really start to relax, we can kind of get in touch with our feelings.
Wow.
So sometimes, when we're all pent up and stuff, we don't really get in touch with our feelings.
That's true.
But when we relax, then we can actually express. And sometimes that's what happens. Some people do have kind of emotional releases on the table.
Right.
And that's actually what happened with my neck pain. Once I had kind of the emotional releases that I needed to with the acupressure, then it allowed me to let go of the body armoring that sometimes happens.
Wow,
and then my neck was able to heal properly.
Isn't that something?
And I never had really neck pain again.
Wow, I was so uneducated then. I didn't go back to that person because I thought it freaked me out. I'm going, oh, there's no way I'm going back. But after understanding, I'm like, oh, I should probably call to say, hey, I'm sorry, it wasn't you.
Well, it is different. It's very different for our culture. Our culture is very used to going to a doctor and getting allopathic treatment and, you know, kind of listening to what the doctor says.
Yeah.
And so many Americans give up the responsibility for their health care to their providers, rather than really taking it for themselves.
That's exactly right.
And I really encourage my patients to take it back themselves and to empower themselves.
Absolutely. So you know what, I've been seeing more and more acupuncturists partner up with chiropractor.
Sure.
Practices. So what do you think that's about? Because I know we're all still working with the body, but I'm just finding that to be really interesting that we're partnering up now, which is a great idea.
Absolutely.
I wish we can really marry conventional with alternative health more so, but
we're getting there.
We're getting there, right?
It's taken more time. But you know, I work with a chiropractor, and so I refer patients to him. He refers patients to me.
Cool.
So there are different pieces that I work with specifically, and different pieces that he works with. So he works with the actual skeleton. You know, so if you have a subluxation or a bone that needs to be kind of put back in place, that's really, you know, kind of more his scope of practice and his more of his territory. The specific chiropractor I work with also works with energy a bit.
Okay.
So I do a lot of muscle work. I do the emotional work sometimes. I do the acupuncture, which can help with stimulating the nerves in a certain way, if there's atrophy, you know, if there's loss of feeling and that sort of thing. I also can help with muscle activation if, you know, if there is atrophy, you know, from it being that way for a while. Also, if there is swelling, pain, you know, inflammation, you know, due to, say, a herniated disc, that sort of thing. Acupuncture really helps with that. And acupuncture, what they've come to find is, you know, kind of by doing PET scans and functional MRIs of the brain, they found that it really helps to take the signal, the pain signal that's coming from the body to the brain, and kind of moderate that and bring that down a bit. And so the body gets the signal that, okay, we're not in severe pain and stress and that sort of thing. So it can kind of move to more of a healing response. So it takes you out of the sympathetic nervous system and kind of moves you more into the parasympathetic kind of healing, relaxation, and repair mode. They've also found that, you know, if hormones are too high, like say stress hormones, cortisone, or not cortisol. Yes, cortisol. Levels, yes, and angiotensin and other kind of hormones that are too high, they tend to lower with acupuncture. And sometimes, you know, hormones that are too low tend to be raised.
Right. So we're talking about a balance.
So it has a balancing, a moderating effect on the body. We don't know exactly how it does that yet, but we know it does that.
Yeah, and that's what I love about traditional Chinese medicine, because it's been around forever.
Yes, it
Are
has.
we really going to question it?
Well, you know, again, it's very new for our culture over here, so we have to get more used to using these tools, these wonderful tools, and they're wonderful tools for that kind of holistic approach.
And why is it that the West Coast just really embraces this? Am I saying that just to be whatever? But
no,
I'm just noticing that.
I think,
you know?
I think you had definitely.
Am I right?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
You know, in the bigger cities, you know, so New York and you know, Florida is a bigger
I was
state.
say Florida,
you know, for more acupuncturists and more use of acupuncture. I think in California, especially, and Oregon and Washington, is the Asian population. You know, that came over, you know, more to that area.
So how are you going to help Raleigh? How are you going to help Wake County and Orange County to embrace this more?
Well, it's just by education. You know, getting more people to come to acupuncturists, to help with the healthcare, you know, really crisis that we're in right now. Using more preventative methods, using more maintenance of your health, and supportive care for people with chronic conditions. Those are things that are really good for an acupuncturist to help somebody with. Doctors have their place, absolutely. Acupuncture has its place too. And it's more with the supportive care, the maintenance care, prevention, and those sorts of things.
People don't like to prevent. They would rather put the dollars into after the fact. I mean, I haven't gotten that yet, but it's so true.
Well, I think it's somewhat the programming we get, you know, from our society, and from our TV commercials and our ads in the magazines, and so, and acupuncturists, we don't have as much money as some of, you know. So if more people start to be educated and start to ask for this more, then the corporations will get on board too. So we have to ask for prevention. We have to ask for maintenance care. We have to ask for supportive care. So we're working on that more and more.
I'm trying to help you, man. I believe in it.
Yes. And
I do.
Yes,
I do.
Yes, I love it.
So share this with me, because I know when I think of why people would come to you, would be for maybe lower back pain or so, or they wanted to sleep more. What are some of the issues that people come
One of
to
the
you
main
about?
ones is pain. That's the one that kind of traditionally got used a lot for the education with acupuncture is that it's for pain, you know, but it's a complete form of medicine. You can come to an acupuncturist for just about anything, as long as it's not structural, you know. But it can even help with structural issues. You know, if you have scoliosis, if you have a broken arm, if you have, you know, that sort of thing, it can help you to heal, help you to manage that condition. Absolutely. Pain is definitely one of the more popular treatments. It works very well. Some of the other things that I do are, you know, for instance, I specialize in fertility medicine.
That's exactly right.
Yeah, so I help people to conceive.
And how do you do that through acupuncture? Because I think that's fascinating within itself.
Yes, absolutely. So
I know you mentioned hormones before, so I'm thinking that plays a major role.
Absolutely.
Okay.
So it just depends on where the couple is on their journey, you know, on trying to get pregnant.
So you do the men and not just the women?
I do men and women,
cool.
yes,
Okay.
absolutely. Men don't come in as much,
okay.
You know, just because that's just kind of the nature of men.
This needle's supposed to help me do what now?
Yeah, right. But lots of women. I work with reproductive endocrinologists in the area. I work with OBGYNs. I work with, you know, other professionals that are doing assisted reproductive techniques like in vitro fertilization and IUI and that sort of thing.
Now that research is fascinating.
Yes, it is.
Talk about that.
Okay.
Yes.
So now, more recently, the whole acupuncture and clinical research models have been going back and forth. There has been some interesting research that came out in 2002, 2003, I think it was, that they did a study with women that were going through IVF. So they did a treatment before and after they did the embryo transfer. And so the results were, I believe, 40% higher in that category that they did the acupuncture before and after the embryo transfer.
That's impressive.
That's very impressive.
Yeah.
It made a lot of people scratch their heads too and say, is this really real?
Not a pill did this, but yeah.
And so when people are spending between, you know, say $12,000 and $15,000 out of their own pocket for in vitro fertilization, to include, you know, just a simple acupuncture treatment before and after to get that kind of results, it makes a lot of sense. Now, traditional Chinese medicine, the way that it's kind of taught in the whole conception and fertility, everybody has their essence. And really the essence, you know, kind of translates to our DNA and how it's expressed. And so there is the study of epigenetics. And epigenetics is the effect of our outside environment, what we eat, what we do, how we think, all that sort of thing.
The air,
Yes, pollution, toxicity, all those sorts of things. What it has an effect on our DNA.
Okay.
And so my job is to kind of be the investigator and look at the male or the female that I have before me and see what we can do to help with the epigenetics so that they can express their chromosomes properly. And so it's kind of like bringing the best part of the man forward, the best part of the woman forward to make the best baby.
Wow.
And that's kind of the root of the way kind of Chinese medicine looks at fertility.
Yeah. And this is National Infertility Awareness Month, this month as well too. So
that's absolutely right.
Dave, we have so much to talk about. Do you think you can be able to come back?
Sure.
Do you think you can be able to come back and demonstrate some acupuncture?
I can do that.
Can you bring your needles?
I can do that.
And would you do like acupressure perhaps on me? Because I've got a little knot and kink.
Absolutely.
Right there. David, how can people get in contact with you?
Well, I have a couple of different websites for the fertility. NC, as in North Carolina, naturalfertility.com. And then kind of for my general practice, and then also my love of Qigong and...
Because you do a lot, man.
Yeah, and Tai Chi and mindfulness meditation is qihub.com, which is QIHUB.com.
For harmony, unity, and balance?
That's right. That's what the hub is for.
Yeah. Any telephone numbers or?
Telephone number is 919-274-8054.
Aren't you excited about your world?
I love this stuff.
You can do it all day, every day in the country.
I do it every day.
Isn't that something?
Yes. I never go to work.
you just have fun and get paid for it.
That's
How
right.
about that?
That's right.
That's a good thing.
Yes.
That's a good thing. One last quote. What would you tell that person who is questioning about it after they heard today's show? What do they need to do first?
Well, try it.
That's it. Just try it.
Try it. You never know until you try it.
Gotcha.
You don't know how to swim unless you get in the water.
That's exactly right.
Right?
And I bet you they'll feel better.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Thank you, David.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for joining us today on Your Health with Katriel. Again, I'm Katriel Holloway, your health advocate, advocating alternative health in all aspects. And again, we'd like to thank David for coming on our show for today. Join us next time again for any balanced, informative information on behalf of health for you so that you can take care of your health. Thanks for joining us and stay tuned.